Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the FB4 Daily for Monday, the 8th of July. What are we going to do today? There's a few bits to talk about today. Harvey Elliott, Firpo, Alisson and Firmino, Gerrard and Kent, Joe Gomez. There's a bit to go. I've managed to get hold of Grizz which is cool. He's on the line. He's not on screen, but he's on the line. And we're going to have a few chats about a few things in the next 25 to 30 minutes. I have got the headphones on so I can hear Grizz if you're wondering what is going on with his head today, but that's just the way it goes. First things first though, your sponsor again for Monday is Love Follow Conquer. Get them on Twitter at Love Follow Conquer, www.lovefollowconquer.com, and as I said before, really good sponsor. They're an independent clothing company by Liverpool fans for Liverpool fans. As I said, go on Twitter, find them there, find all the links to all the different bits and pieces. The jackets are my favourite, but there's t-shirts as well. Really good quality. The testimonials from everybody will tell you all that on the opening page of their website. There's a competition today brought to you by Love Follow Conquer as well, with a chance to win some of their merchandise. We get on to that a little bit later. First things first, Grizz, how are you?
I'm good, Gav. Yeah. I'm good. Just enjoying my lunchtime with the best man in the world. Yourself.
Yeah.
Don't you ever doubt my commitment and my dedication and my love for your podcast. Don't ever doubt it.
Oh no, I don't doubt. I know you've taken time out of your busy schedule to join me here for the next half an hour.
Thank you very much. That's correct.
And if at any stage you need to go, let me know and you can head off. There's no problem there.
Nice one.
Right, I'm going to start with Harvey Elliott, Grizz. 16 years of age. It looks like we fended off some interest from Real, Barca, Paris Saint-Germain, RB Leipzig. He was the youngest ever Premier League player, I think, when he came on as a sub against Wolves at 16 years old and 30 days, and Liverpool will pay some compensation. What do you make of this one?
It's brilliant, isn't it? We're actually probably the club that every youngster, or the top youngsters, and when I mean youngsters, I mean the real youngsters, like 16, 17-year-old bracket. We're the number one destination, it seems. We signed the other lad, the ginger giant, and now this kid, and we've apparently fended off some top massive clubs where normally we wouldn't have been in the mix for, and they've chosen us. So it's only a positive. This one, I'm going to admit, I don't know nothing about in terms of, I haven't seen him play. I haven't followed the Fulham under 15s. I haven't had a chance to follow the Fulham under 15s.
That's surprised.
I YouTubed him, Gav, as we all do, and obviously YouTube's YouTube, but this guy looks, and I've been reading sort of scouting reports on him as well, and it all bodes well, Gav. He looks an absolute gem. He really does.
Yeah, the word coming out of Fulham is that he's been a sensation since he's kind of broken into the latter age groups and onto the training with the first team. The talk is that he's been a sensation for them.
No, he does. I mean, it's just the clubs that sort of were linked with him. It just it shows. And these clubs, as we know, every major club is trying to invest in the future because they realize that's where you can find these gems where, end up sort of selling for like 100, or for example, like that Felix chap that just gone to Atletico Madrid for like 120 million euros. I mean, that's just amazing if you find a gem like that. That can sort of, so all these major club scouts are sort of searching, not, it used to be like find the best 19-year-olds, the best 18-year-olds. Well, now they're going sort of, as young as 14, 15 and scouring the market. And if Liverpool are ahead of all these clubs, then it all bodes well.
Yeah, absolutely. Just to let people know, they are, Grizz, you can't see this, but people are watching. They're throwing in comments. As the comments come in, I'll pick a few out and we'll talk about them as we go along. Anybody watching this, share the broadcast on Twitter, follow us on Twitter, subscribe on YouTube, all those sorts of things. Get involved. You need to be watching the show today in order to win this prize with Love Follow Conquer. We won't be putting it out on Twitter afterwards. The winner will come from the people making comments here today. But we will get to that towards the end. It's going to be a small little window where we're going to ask a question. You're going to give me the answer and all the right answers. So I'll pick one at random and we'll see who wins.
Can I enter?
You cannot enter, no, Grizz. You know this. You continuously ask this, and no, you cannot. One person says there, he's over the moon because the show is on and Grizz is on time. Yeah, it's very rare Grizz is on time, but he happened to do it today.
Only because it was lunchtime.
Absolutely.
And I've skipped my lunchtime for because I'm on the diet. Remember, Gav? So
yeah, you're on that diet.
I don't need a lunchtime for food. So
yeah,
I thought, what's the best way of sort of killing my hunger?
Yeah, and
chat to Gav.
The chances are if you head off, you're going off to cycle that new bike of yours, apparently.
That's the one. We talk about that Sunday.
Yeah, no worries. We will talk about that Sunday. Oh, sorry, just talk about Sundays. The Fatback 4 will be back every Sunday from 8:30 p.m. from this Sunday. We are back. We will have 3 of us on Sunday. We're hoping to have all 4 of us back the weekend after. We will have a daily show Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and your Sunday show will be the Fatback 4 at 8:30. All the usual madness and whatever else goes on, and Matt's warming up nicely for it. Ian is sorting himself out, so he's ready. Grizz is ready, and so am I. So just to let you know that. Grizz, the Firpo, the name has come up here. Barrett asks, what do we think on Firpo? The talk is, Grizz, that talks are still ongoing. It's probably 30 million plus Origi or 40 million, which is a bit weird for me, to be perfectly honest with you. 10 million as Origi as a sweetener doesn't seem enough. I think Origi is probably worth a bit more than that. But Firpo, for you, it's left back cover. Me and all the lads that have commented on here all week have been talking about left back cover and what we might do. In your opinion, good move for us if it happens. Bit weird, the Origi stuff though.
I disregard the Origi stuff. From what I think or how I know, in my opinion, Origi ain't going nowhere. He's going to be sort of signing that contract shortly, so I don't think we can sort of bother talking about any type of Origi swap or deal in there. The lad himself, Gav, I'm going to surprise you again. I've watched him play for the Spanish. In the Spanish under-21s.
Yeah, because
I like him, Gav.
Hitting Frank here says from what he's seen of the 21s, Firpo looks a player. He's young as well, so won't be expecting to play. And Chris says that the Betis accounts are saying that a deal is close for 40 million euros.
Who says?
Chris, who's a commenter here, says that this is what I'm trying to tell you, Grizz. People are commenting. I'm going to throw in comments at you.
You're not going to mention it, so I might as well blow my own trumpet. I said this Firpo chap we're interested in about 4 or 5 weeks ago, but then obviously the local media came out and shut down the rumours. But I still firmly believe we are interested in him. We have scouted him very heavily. He's a top prospect. I really like the look of him. Hadn't seen him play. Obviously, you don't look out for junior Firpos. You don't look out for left backs from Betis in your spare time, unless you're into that kind of thing. But as soon as I found out we're linked, I've watched him and I like him. He's got the makings of a fantastic attacking left back, which in the mold of sort of Klopp likes. Very, very attacking, very brave on the ball, very technical. He's got a lovely first touch for a left back, Gav. I know you like that because you've got a very good touch yourself. I've seen you play.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I know. Yep, and so you'll appreciate he's got a lovely touch for a left back, and you don't often see that. Just like our Trent has. He's very technically gifted, this junior Firpo. Apparently, I don't know this, I haven't seen him play myself, but apparently he can play at centre-back, which makes sense as well. Because that would be ideal, a left-sided centre-back who can play left-back. But I don't, the rumours, so the prices that are being sort of bandied about, we're not going to pay anything like that for essentially a reserve left back.
Because the thing is here, first off, Vincent says, Grizz seems to watch everyone. The bluffer. No, he does actually watch a lot of football. He does. He just watches football. He watches a lot of football and then fits in the Sopranos around it. He's taken up the Sopranos 19 years after.
Football and Sopranos,
but, other than the Sopranos, he watches a hell of a lot of football. Liverpool Chris again says he's very versatile. He can also play left wing apparently. And then Barrett says, why would you pay 35 million for a backup left back? The only way we would pay that is if he could play.
Well, Gav, can I answer that one? Yeah. To whoever said the 35
absolutely,
million. Yeah. Gav, the situation is we've got to get out of this mindset as a fan base that why do we have to pay X amount for X amount? Look, the example or the team that we're fighting for, honours with, sharing this like sort of mantle with the top is City. Now, who do City have on their subs bench? The likes of Mahrez, 50 million. The likes of the other Danilo, 40 million or something. We have to have expensive. We don't have to, but there is no harm if we have got the money to have expensive subs. That's the way of winning a title. We have to have quality reserves. Now, those days of why do we have to spend X amount? Why are we still doubting sort of the finances and the structure we've got in place of FSG and Edwards and Co. and the money men? We're a fantastically run club. The least of our worries should be, do we have to spend X amount? Why amount? All we as fans should be concerned with, in my opinion, is get the best players we can possibly get in, and sod the price. Do you agree?
No, well, Kev O'Sullivan there says Mings just moved for 26 million, so under 21 Spain left back is not out of the way fee wise.
Absolutely.
But I do agree with you, Grizz, and like I'm doing this show now. This is my 8th show doing this, and in fairness to people watching this, they have the majority have said, look, the money isn't their money, but you have to trust Klopp and what he's doing, whether that be a couple of marquee signings, whether it's a little low key and he's filling the squad out because of players he's lost, like Moreno, like Sturridge, the kind of way. But I agree with you. We need to be all we need to do is be there in the first day of the season and ready to go. These things don't just happen overnight. They're planned well in advance. Like Chris says there, we need to spend to have the squad depth. I think a signing like this, if it was say 30 million euros, is squad depth, isn't it? Because it's a left back. It's an area where we have looked at probably for the last year since we decided Milner was not going to go back there, unless it really, really needed to happen.
No, listen. Our drop off in sort of. And I'm a big, massive fan of Milner, as you know. He's really, really appreciated in my books. But the system that we play and we've developed now under Klopp, if Robbo, God forbid, was out for any amount of games or time, then Milner just doesn't do what Robbo can do. It's quite as simple as that. And so, therefore, we would need a class replacement. And this guy fits the mold in every way. Not saying we've like he's the only one we've looking at or scouted or we want, but I'm saying in the mold of this chap, under 21, international, very, very athletic, fit, and loves going forward, and that's the type of fullback we're looking at. Some people have mentioned Ryan Bertrand of Southampton as an option. I mean, I haven't heard about the link myself.
I did. I mentioned him.
Oh, did you? Okay, but I mean that would make sense also. But I doubt if someone of Bertrand's quality and sort of stage of his career, he'd want to play every single game. Whereas players from Europe have far more understanding of the rotation system. They're so used to it. Do you know what I mean? It's mostly the British players that aren't used to this sort of resting and rotating, that have got, objections. Players from abroad don't mind, being sort of reserves, learning, playing in certain games and resting others. So, look, if we can get a deal done for, I'd say maximum about 30 million euros, I think it makes sense. And Betis, look, at the end of the day, we're playing a waiting game with quite a few of our deals, I believe. We're in such a good, strong position, Gav. We're just not desperate like those Manx, the red side of the Manx. We're just not throwing money left, right, and centre. And we don't need to. So people that are worried about, X amount, they don't need to worry. We know what we're doing financially. And we're not in this place by fluke. It's all by design, as you said. These things are planned well in advance. And I've got total confidence in the team to get the right deals done, even if there's one or two.
Yeah, there's one person there said he doesn't think Firpo will come to sit on the bench. You see, that's... I kind of understand what he's saying there if he's that highly rated. But as well as that, when it comes to a squad, you need to be saying to Firpo, and this is what I'd be saying to him. I don't know what Klopp does. Like, I'm not privy to anything that Jurgen Klopp or anyone at that club does. But the thing is, like, he would have to be going to Firpo and saying, yeah, you're an under 21 international. Andy Robertson is probably the best left back in Europe at the minute. I'd struggle to find a better one. But come and challenge and show me what you can do, and I'll have no problem giving Andy Robertson a rest every couple of weeks, or that kind of thing. So for me, it's one of those where if a player needs to be, I suppose, ambitious enough to say, well, yeah, Andy Robertson is probably the best around, but I'm going to challenge him, and I'm going to a huge club to do it. So that's where I sit on Firpo. Grizz, we'll move on from Firpo. A few people have asked about Pepe and Dembele and stuff like that. We will get to it towards the end. But Grizz, Alisson and Firmino won the Copa America last night, and although it was brilliant for both of them, the rise of Alisson over the last 12 months is phenomenal, isn't it?
Amazing, isn't it? It's almost like, the feed. Do you remember there was, I'm not going to single you out, but there was loads of fans sort of, again, querying the fee that we're paying for a goalkeeper.
Oh, I did. I did, 100%, yeah.
Yeah, I know you did. So, people are saying things like, well, if we're going to spend 60 on Alisson, why not spend another 20 on sort of...
Oblak, what's the name at the moment?
That's the one, Oblak, that's the one.
Mm-hmm.
Well, again, hats off to our recruitment and scouting team. They knew kind of what they're doing. I don't think... We often talk about VVD's price not being mentioned. Have you heard the price tag of Alisson ever being mentioned in the last year or so? Absolutely not. It just shows that, it's very methodical and calculated what Klopp and his sort of scouting network are doing in terms of we know exactly the type of player, in terms of temperament, in terms of maturity, in terms of his sort of skill sets. I personally, again, Alisson, I don't think is the best shot stopper per se in the world. I still think Oblak is an absolute, freak in terms of shot stopping. But in terms of the profile, in terms of Alisson's all-round play and game, it suits us down to the ground. And not only that, he's proven to be an amazing character in the dressing room in terms of team spirit and camaraderie. And, he's everyone's favourite human being at the moment, isn't he?
Yeah, absolutely. It's like, I'll be straight up, when this was mentioned around 60, 65 million or whatever it was, I balked at it a little bit and thought Oblak for a little bit more would be probably a better option. But I have to say, hands up, fair cop and stuff like that. He's been outstanding, and he's grown and grown and grown. And he didn't peak. I think that's the wrong word to use. But he came to the fore big time. In the Champions League semi-final at Anfield, he makes a few good saves against Barcelona. He's impeccable in the final, impeccable. Now, some of the saves they were overblown a little bit by some people, but he done everything to the letter. In that Champions League final, and he didn't give Spurs that little. Although Spurs were playing well, he didn't give Spurs that any sort of encouragement to, he's dodgy from long shots or he's dodgy at this side. He'd done it to the letter. Absolutely amazing signing. 75 million on Van Dijk is talked about all the time. Less and less so as the days and weeks and months go on. But the same with Alisson now. I think people are realising that was an absolute steal. There's a little bit in here about a couple of other clubs. Grizz, 35 million bid lodged by Everton from Malcolm. Is that the guy with Barcelona?
That's the guy from Barcelona,
yeah. Arsenal also interested. £28 million Leicester for Tovin. Is he with Marseille?
That's the one, yeah.
And I think that's it. But just a couple of bits are happening. So
it's all going to kick off now, isn't it, Gav? With the Copa and the AFCON. When's the AFCON final?
I think that might be next Sunday, is it?
Oh, okay. I thought it was this week.
I thought it was around the quarterfinals this weekend. So I'll look it up and I'll find out for you.
Well, it's bound to sort of kick off now. All these teams sort of finishing these tournaments and players and agents coming back from holidays. So it's going to all kick off. Look, at the end of the day, to say that we're just sort of not in the mix and we're resting on our laurels is pretty mad. And how and why people believe that is beyond me. We don't need a lot. I mean, that's the reality of it. And I know people love transfers, and I love people seeing players link left, right, and centre, and then work themselves up into a frenzy when it doesn't happen. Do you know what I mean? So it's like, why are you doing this to yourself? But look, to say that we're just sitting on our laurels and Edwards and Co are sort of having extended holidays is just not true. There's plenty going on behind the scenes, and even if it's one or two, which I believe, as long as those one or two are the right signings for us, I think they will take place. So look, the likes of Everton and all these teams are desperate, and still nothing's happening. We're not desperate, so relax.
Yeah. Chris says the quarterfinals of the AFCON is this week. Chris, you might look it up and tell me when the final is on. I have the 18th in my head for some reason. Don't ask me why. But with the Copa America over now on the 7th of July. If you add 3 weeks to that, you're looking at the 28th of July. The lads coming back. It only leaves about 10 days before the season starts. They may need to take a 2.5 week break to get themselves 2 weeks before they're back and ready for the new season. Just a couple of more things, Chris. I'm going to ask you this because it's come up a few times, right? Dembele and Pepe. People are asking what your opinion on Dembele and Pepe are. Not as players, I don't think. I just think as possible recruitments for Liverpool Football Club. What's your thoughts on both, quickly, Chris?
Very quickly, my thoughts are exactly the same that they've always been. I know of interest from Dembele from ages, as you know. It's all a matter of both deals depend, and I know this is the most obvious thing, but it is what it is, Gav. It depends on the money, it depends on the price, it depends on the availability of the player. I always maintained and still maintain that if Dembele became available on the market, then we would 100% be interested. We made a loan move for him last season, which he refused. His management team, the club, everyone wanted him to stay. This season it may change because the pending arrivals of Griezmann and who's the other fella, Neymar. They'll get those deals done somehow, somewhere. As Barcelona do. And if that happens, and Dembele becomes available, then I think we'd be in the market for him. A loan move would make sense for all parties because he has had quite a few niggling injuries, nothing serious, but niggles here and there. A loan move would suit everyone down to the ground. Pepe, as I've told you in private as well, we've been in talks with since February. That's as far back as I know. Again, locals have denied it, generals denied it. I know we've been in talks. Again, it's a bit of money. Everyone's asking ridiculous money of us. We're not about to pay ridiculous money. The world thought we paid ridiculous money for Keita. Even people were saying Ox was overpriced, considering he was in his last year of contract. Alisson, VVD. We know if the player's worth it, we will pay the fee. They obviously, when I say they, the Liverpool, team that's in charge, believe that Pepe is worth around the £50 million mark. Obviously, the Lille chairman is trying to drive up a price in an auction. We're not getting involved in an auction. So I think, again, it's just we're sitting back and enjoying the ride. And, when they realise no one else is going to pay 70 million or 65 million, we'll say, well, here's 50 million like we originally said, and take it or leave it. Yeah. And it's literally that's the case, I believe.
Okay. The African Nations Cup, is Friday the 19th is the final of that. A couple of people have told me there. Daniel says no chance of a loan move. Klopp will not develop a player and send him back. No chance.
What's that for?
I'd say it's Dembele.
Well, this is the thing. This is one of the reasons why the first deal broke down. We wanted to have an option to buy. They refused to put an option to buy in the 2-year loan. We wanted a 2-year loan. They refused that. They refused to sanction a loan to buy, an option to buy, and so therefore both parties pulled out. This was like 14, 16 months ago. Situations change. Transfers are fluid, as we've mentioned, Gav, how many times? Things happen. So we're in a very good position to let it sort of see how it develops. And if there's an opportunity, there's absolutely no doubt in my mind we will go for someone in the mould of a Dembele and Pepe. Yeah. Absolutely no doubt.
I think it's John here says the hold up on Griezmann could be to do with the departure of Dembele. It could be. The Griezmann thing's getting a little bit messy. One of the guys there says pay 60 to 7 million for him. He's worth. PSG are also interested too. And he feels it's water in the long run. We'll have to wait and see on these things. A couple of things. Lastly, to finish, Grizz, of 2 or 3 more things to talk about before I ask the competition question. And the Steven Gerrard and Ryan Kent. Gerrard rumoured to be on a list of people that Newcastle would like to speak to for their job. And Ryan Kent, I think Rangers are looking for another loan move where Liverpool are probably looking to sell. Gerrard is telling papers that it's in Liverpool's court. What do you think on Gerrard and Newcastle and Kent with Rangers? What do you reckon?
Yeah, I don't think Gerrard's leaving Rangers for anything real soon. the Kent situation is simple. We want to sell. That's our first option. But unfortunately, Rangers haven't got the kind of money that we're looking for. We're looking for around 10 million for him. We know the state of Rangers' finances. They are selling that Morelos guy apparently, but I don't think they've got the kind of money that we're looking for. So they've obviously want him on loan again. If no offer comes in for Ryan Kent of around 10 million, then we probably reluctantly send him on loan again to Rangers, because the lad himself wants that, but obviously the club has to think about themselves first, I believe. If we get an offer for 10 million around for Kent, he's gone. But it looks like Rangers can't give that or afford that, so maybe it'll most likely go back to Rangers on something about Rangers again. I've heard today. Daniel Sturridge, remember him?
Yeah.
So Daniel Sturridge is likely to be joining Steven Gerrard as well at Rangers once the Morelos deal goes through.
Yeah.
They're looking to offload Morelos, and Daniel Sturridge is going to sort of score 10, 12 goals for Rangers.
Oh yeah, like Matt said, Steve would do for us last season. We'll get back onto that on Sunday. I'll leave Matt alone today. I have Sunday to look forward to.
Predictions, I can't wait for the predictions.
Yeah, well, what we're going to do is, for the season now, I'm going to get you all to do predictions privately, and I'm going to keep them away until the end of the season and reveal them at the end of the season.
Can you write them down, please?
Absolutely, I will write them down, and I will take pictures of them, and we will do. But look, we're going to have a great time on Sunday night. Everyone needs to join us on Sunday night. We're going to have a great time. We're going to get a lot off our chest with regards to each other, and then we're going to go from there. But on Gerrard, I think Gerrard probably does need a move away from Rangers to a Premier League team to further his career. I think it's a goldfish bowl up there, and it's, they finished second to Celtic, who are better than them in all areas as a club. Financially, the way they're set, European football, everything, the way the squad they have. But I think he needs to move to somewhere where it's a bit more competitive more of the time. Now, I've openly said that Gerrard, to me, as a Liverpool manager in the next 2 or 3 seasons, scares me. It's just the way I am. I don't know, but for me, if Gerrard has a Premier League job that's been offered, or maybe even a top-end Championship squad, job, I'd probably go and take it and move from Rangers, but not Newcastle. That's an absolute fucking mess. You're asking if Rafa Benitez, walks away from a club that genuinely loved them, probably as much as Liverpool fans loved them.
It's a mess.
There's something seriously wrong there. On Ryan Kent, I've seen Leeds linked, but I think you're right. I think we will look to sell. I think his value is at probably the best it's going to be at 10, 12
it's
million.
Fairly simple. It's fairly simple. We're waiting for clubs to make us a 10 million bid. If we were happy to send Rangers, if we were happy to send him to Rangers on loan again, it would be done by now, Gav. It's very simple as that. We're biding our time. We're not in a rush to send him back on loan. Even though the guy is very happy, then he wants to work with Stevie G again. We're saying, look, give us 10 million, give us 9 million, give us 8 million. Apparently, they bid 4 million, which is nowhere near enough. No. That's the max they said they could offer us. We said no, thank you. So, Stevie G, I agree with you. I wouldn't want him to manage us in the next 3 or 4 years. I don't believe he will, because I don't believe Klopp's going anywhere. But that's another topic. Mm-hmm. But Stevie G does need to get away from there, and I think it's fine. I think let him just go to Rangers and experience sort of that sort of aspect and that sort of managing a huge club, one of the biggest clubs one of the 2 biggest clubs in Scotland, and then maybe go to a lower league or mid-table Premier League team and work his way through. Similar to maybe like Lampard. I mean, I think Lampard's move to Chelsea is a bit premature, and I think he could suffer as a result, but we're not bothered about that. We're bothered about Stevie G. I think he's on track. I think he's doing fine. I don't think there's any pressure or rush to sort of get them sort of Liverpool. I think we're fine for the next 5-6 years. Okay.
Just quickly, the competition. All I want you to do for a chance to win is add up Trent's squad number and add up Rhian Bruce's squad number. Add them together. Put an answer on the comments, and we'll pick one at random towards the end or at the end. Right, it's for Gerrard, the experience and the intensity up in Scotland is a massive thing from. I think football and wise, I think he might need something a little bit more challenging week on week. in order to progress. Any word, Chris says, any word on Milner's new contract? The talk is that he's going to be offered a new deal. I'm all for it. I'm presuming that I'm presuming you're all for it as well, Chris.
Oh, I love him, mate. One of the best. I mean, I see somewhere people comparing him and sort of the merits of saying McAllister was the best free signing ever. I have doubts. I'd put Milner forward, definitely on a par, maybe probably even more of a pedestal. I think Milner has been an amazing signing for us, and he, if ever any player deserved or sort of deserved a new contract and worked for a new contract, it's James Milner. An absolute credit on the pitch, off the pitch.
Yeah, absolutely, and if it means that he gets, an extra year playing, or probably and then a year on top of that as a coach and stuff like that, I'm all for it. There's no problem there. We have a couple of answers in there with regards to the answer. I'm not going to tell you which one is right, but there's a couple of answers in there, and when I get to the end, I'll look back through the comments and I'll pick one for you. What else was I going to say to you? That's really it. The last little bit, Joe Gomez was back in training, Grizz, and he said that he wants to nail down a position in the team, and one position, and he wants to win the league. I like this sort of talk from him, Grizz. I agree with him. I think he needs to nail down the centre half and get away from that right back spot as quickly as he can. And he wants to win the league, and I'm all for him doing that as well. Do you like this sort of talk, Grizz, early on?
Love this kind of talk. The guys in been training all summer personally, making sure he's ready. The guy formed an amazing partnership at the start of last season. Totally proved me wrong. I didn't think he had a future at centre back for us in long term. How wrong I was, and I love it. I love being proved wrong when it comes to Liverpool and players doing good. No pride. I think he's fighting for a starting spot, because I do firmly believe Matip totally deserves the starting berth for the start of the season. And isn't it great to have 3/4 if you include Degsy for now? Great competition. I don't think we've had these 4 good centre backs in a very, very long time.
Yeah, absolutely. To be in that position is great. And the thing about Lovren moving on is the bit that's a bit strange for me. Gomez, Lovren, Matip, Van Dijk, that isn't bad. I think, but if you're going to move Lovren on, I think you might need to go with a big signing rather than.
That's like, without doubt, in my opinion.
Rather than that young guy we signed to. Look, I hope he turns out to be the second best centre back in the world from the end of the season.
Collectively, I think we have the 4 best centre backs collectively. As good as anywhere in Europe, I'd say. The quality of those 4 centre backs now is as good as anywhere. That's what we call depth, strength and depth. What we need is that kind of strength and depth in all departments. And I think the only place that's kind of lacking is left back and what we discussed earlier, one of the front 3 alternatives. Yeah. But I think we're good to go otherwise. We really are.
Okay.
Gav, I'm past your run now.
Yeah, you walk away, Grizz, and I'll talk to you later on, okay?
Nice one, pal.
Thanks for joining me, Grizz. Cheers.
Bye-bye. See you Sunday. Bye-bye.
Thanks. Dave's LFC chat is on there saying, "Hi, Reds. Hey, Dave. How are you? Good to hear from you." What was I going to say to you? Look, we're going to finish up there. Trent squad number, Brewster squad number. Add them up. Throw the total onto the screen there. We have 2 or 3 more minutes while I close out this show. Thanks again to Grizz for joining me. We try to get him on a bit more, and as I said, we'll be back on Sunday. With regards to the club is on tonight, that's going to be recorded tonight. The lads I know want to have a big talk about Jurgen Klopp and his contract situation. So that should be good. That will be out later on tonight. You'll get it on your podcast apps. You'll also get it on Spotify. It'll be on our Twitter account. It'll also be uploaded onto YouTube, so you can listen there. But look, that's been the Fatback 4 Daily for Monday, the 8th of July. I'm still going. I haven't got one wrong yet. I know you're waiting for me to slip up, and to be honest with you, so am I. But no, that's been us. Thanks for joining us. Don't forget the club is on later on. I'll be back tomorrow. Probably around 3 o'clock again. If that changes, of course, I'll let you know. Thanks for joining us. Thanks a million to our sponsors, Love, Follow, Conquer. The winner of the prize today will be contacted by them with regards to getting their prize, and as I said, their stuff is amazing. Hitting Frank asks, was it Trent and Gomez? No, it was Trent and Brewster. Add them up. Anyone that knows the total there, just bang it on screen. You have about 30 seconds. Love, Follow, Conquer, as I said, they're going to be the one that's going to give us our prize today. They're a great sponsor, brilliant stuff that they produce. It's been a good one today, hasn't it? It's nice having a guest to bounce off and give a different opinion, and then you can come on and abuse them, especially when it's Grizz. Don't tell them I told you that. But no, that's been us. That's been really good. Thanks a million. We'll talk to you again tomorrow. Don't forget the club later on. I know I've said that about 3 times now, but don't forget later on. It'll be there for download, and we'll be back with you tomorrow. Thanks a million. Over now.